There we go.
All right, guys, without further ado, the next President of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you, Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
You guys ready for the political revolution?
Yeah!
Okay, that means we have a lot of work to do in the next few days, and we've got a lot of work to do in the next few months. We're running for president for some very simple reasons. Number one, we love our country and we are deeply concerned about what is happening to it. We believe in democracy, and yet what we are seeing in this country today is a handful of billionaires spending incredible sums of money to elect candidates who will represent the wealthy and the powerful. In fact, the absurd becomes even more absurd when Donald Trump needs money from Sheldon Adelson, a billionaire from Nevada. So you got billionaires contributing large sums of money to support another billionaire, while the middle class continues to disappear and more people are living in poverty. So issue number one, Kentucky. We are going to resist and defeat oligarchy, and we're going to restore a vibrant democracy in this country by overturning Citizens United's Supreme Court decision. Number two, in this country today, as all of you know, we have the most unequal distribution of wealth and income of any major country on earth. In America today, the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Got that? 20 people on the top own more wealth than the bottom 150 million Americans. One family, the Walton family of Walmart, owns more wealth than the bottom 42% of the American people. That is not sustainable, that is not moral, and that is not what this country is about. Further, here in Kentucky and in my state and all over this country, we have people who are working 2 or 3 jobs just trying to cobble together the income and the health care they need. Study just came out the other day. Median income for the middle class, median income for lower income workers gone down significantly over the last 15 years. We need an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. All over this country and in Kentucky, you have people who were promised pensions but are now seeing significant cuts to the pensions they were promised. Here in Kentucky, you have a pension fund administered by the United Mine Workers, which is in serious trouble. Some of us in Congress are fighting hard to make sure that retired mine workers get the pensions that they were promised. But we have in Mitch McConnell, the majority leader of the United States Senate, somebody who is in opposition to what the mine workers in Kentucky need. Send Mitch a message, tell him to support the mine workers in his own state. And what this campaign is also about is the needs of our young people. Our young people need to get the best education that they can without finding themselves tens of thousands of dollars in debt. What we have right now is an absurd situation. We are living in a highly competitive global economy. We need the best educated workforce in the world. Come on up here, young people. Come here, right here. All right. All right. All right, I want these kids, come on up, let's go. All right. All right, this is the future of America. It's right here. These beautiful young people. I want all of them who have the ability and who have the desire. You guys doing your homework seriously?
Yes.
All right. Are you taking school seriously?
Yes.
All right. All right, I want all of the kids in this country, in Kentucky and Vermont, everywhere, who study hard, who do well in school. I want them to be able to go to college regardless of the income of their families. And that is why I believe that in the year 2016, we should be making public colleges and universities tuition free. Because when that word gets out to young kids, what grade are you in?
4th.
That's right, exactly. What's your name?
Zach.
All right, Zach is in the 4th grade. And I want Zach, I don't want to strangle Zach. I want Zach and every kid in the 4th grade in America. I want their parents to know, and I want their teachers to know that when these kids study hard and do well, lack of income in their families will not be an impediment to getting an education. And that means that kids all over this country will know that regardless of the income in their families, they will be able to get the best education this country can afford them, because public colleges and universities will be tuition free. And for those people dealing with student debt, and we got millions of Americans who are paying off $30,000, $50,000, $70,000.
I have $85,000 right now.
Come on up here. What's your debt? How much? Come on up. Let's go. Okay, thank you guys. We're going to get you into college, all right? Let's get the student debt. All right.
Step back about 5 feet. Give us a little bit of room. Thanks. Right there is perfect. Oh my God. Serving the economy.
All right. How much? Tell your story.
$75,000 in student debt, and I didn't even get to graduate.
What college you go to?
Sullivan University.
Okay. 75,000. What does that mean a month?
Nothing right now because I can't pay it. So it means they take my taxes.
Yep. How much? What's your story?
I've got $80,000 in debt. I'm going to community college, and my interest rates were just so high on the loans.
How much? You know how high your interest rates are?
My interest rates right now are 12%.
Jesus.
Too high. And then they're like, well, you know, you have till you're 40, and I'm like, well, I might not get a job as a nurse. You know, I mean,
Is that what your training is in nursing?
I'm going for CNA and then LPN, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, great. Okay. Your debt, 70, what'd you say?
85.
85. What's your name and what's your
My name is Chris. My debt is $14,000 right now. I've only done a semester. I'm not done.
Okay.
And I went to school here in town.
All right, let me just make it clear that what you have heard is crazy. It really is. If you think about it for a minute, why are these people being punished for doing the right thing? They all want to do well in their lives. They want to serve the community. And to do that, they need a decent education. They should not have to be in debt for decades for doing the right thing. Who's paying? You're paying 12% interest rates?
Yeah,
I mean, that is beyond belief. All right, so what we are proposing, all right, as part of our plan, is to allow all people who have student debt today to refinance their loans at the lowest interest rates you can find. And you know what? You're going to find interest rates a lot lower than 12%. All right, and that will save you a very substantial sum of money on what you have to pay off over the years. So, okay, thank you guys very much. Okay. Okay, now somebody said, what about health care? All right, let's come on up here. Let's hear about health care.
Thank you.
This is an unusual town meeting, but what the heck? It's an unusual campaign.
What about our high deductibles?
I know, come on. All right. You dealing with high deductibles? All right. I got somebody else talking about health care. Who was talking about health care? You were? Okay, come on up. Let her through.
Sorry.
Okay, let's say a few words about health care. What's your name?
Brandy.
Brandy? Here's your mic.
Hi, sir. I got lupus, and I'm young, and the healthcare is ridiculous. Just premiums, deductibles, and all that. It's hard finding a job, a full-time job, trying to cover that and paying off those college loans and whatnot. I love you, man. Can I help you? So yeah, man, it's hard out here. The struggle's real. You got people out here trying to do the right things.
Are you paying off student debt as well?
Yes, sir. I'm doing it all. I'm single. I'm a strong black woman.
All right, but here's what you got. And Brandy's point is the right point. It's not just one issue. Healthcare is an issue. You're paying off student debt and you're trying to get a decent job, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we've got to deal with all of those issues. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Wendy.
Wendy.
High deductibles insurance. I pay $600 a month for insurance, but $3,000 deductible.
Okay, what is that? Does that prevent you from going to the doctor when you should?
It prevents me from having knee surgery right now.
Okay, thanks, Wendy. All right. So what Wendy says, Wendy, I want to get you right. $600 a month. Okay, that's $7,200 a year, and you got a $3,000 deductible. So after paying a heck of a lot of money, is that a good percentage of your income?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's paying a high percentage of her income just for health care, but that doesn't mean she can go to the doctor and get the care that she needs because she has a $3,000 deductible. All right. All right, anybody?
$150 for an inhaler for my daughter. It costs with the new high deductible, and it used to be $15.
Okay, anybody else want to come up and talk about health care?
I don't have health.
No, I can't sign that right this moment. Let me just deal with other health care issues.
Thank you for supporting House Bill 676.
All right. All right, but let me just say a word about health care. All right. How many countries are there in the industrialized world, wealthy countries, that do not guarantee health care to all people? Anyone know? You got it. You got it. So right now, we have made some progress with the Affordable Care Act, but as you have just heard, not enough progress because millions of people still have no health insurance, and millions of others, like Wendy, are paying high deductibles and co-payments. And Brandy as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And many of you. So what we have got to do is do what every other major country on earth is doing, and that is guarantee health care to all people as a right, not a privilege. I want Brandy and Wendy to be able to go to the doctor when they need it. I want Wendy to be able to have her knee surgery without having to worry about a $3,000 deductible that she cannot afford. And then we got another issue that we have to deal with, and that is that the pharmaceutical industry is ripping off the American people in an unconscionable way. Our people are paying by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. And yet, in the last year, the top 5 pharmaceutical companies made $50 billion in profit. All right? So we are going to tell the pharmaceutical industry that people in America will not die or will not become sicker than they should because of the outrageous prices that the drug companies are charging us. And all of that together leads us to a Medicare for all program. Guaranteed health care for every man, woman, and child. Now, what this campaign is about is taking on very powerful special interests. I am extremely proud that our campaign, unique among all of the presidential campaigns, does not have a super PAC. We are not raising large sums of money from Wall Street or from the drug companies or from anybody else. We are raising it from middle class and working families in this country who have given us an average contribution of $27 apiece. How's that? And we have received $7.3 million of those $27 contributions. And that's the way politics should be, not being dependent on big money interests, but doing as Abraham Lincoln reminded us at Gettysburg, and that is to run a campaign of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that is what this campaign is about. Where's Jane? Yeah? Okay, bring her out. But
How can E-Town help you get elected?
pardon me?
How can E-Town help you get elected?
Well, you guys can help us big time. Tuesday is a very, very important election. And it is important because we are going to have to do very, very well in the remaining 8 states, including Kentucky, in order to win more pledged delegates than Secretary Clinton has. Now, we did well in Indiana a couple of weeks ago. We did very well in West Virginia. Okay, we won West Virginia by 15 points. But the difference between the primaries in West Virginia and in Kentucky is West Virginia is an open primary so that independents can come in and vote. I think that is the way it should be in every state, but it is not in many states, including Kentucky. So that's going to make our job a little bit harder. But what I would ask of all of you is to do everything you can to bring out your friends, your family, your neighbors, your co-workers. If there's a large voter turnout, we will win. If not, we will probably lose. This is going to be a tough election for us. So please do everything that you can to make sure that Kentucky joins the other 19 states in this country who have already gone on record in saying that we need in America a political revolution. We need all of our people to stand up, fight back, and demand that we have a government that represents all of us, not just the people on top. So I would hope very much that on Tuesday and the next few days, you guys will do everything you can to make sure that the people you know come out to vote. If that happens, we'll win a great victory here in Kentucky. Thank you all so much for your help. Jane? And here is Jane. Say, if you want a good first lady, here she is. Okay.
Bernie, can I get a picture with you, sir?
All right, guys, if you want to help out as much as possible, please sign up for a canvas strip right here. Get as many voters out on Tuesday as possible. We can use as many of you as possible.
Move it pretty quick, though. Okay, you almost ready to go? Yeah, well, there you go, sir.
And what we saw there was literally beyond belief. Unemployment off the charts. People living in McDowell County, West Virginia, 18 years less. Their life expectancy 18 years lower than 6 hours north in Fairfax, Virginia. So poverty is not just not having a good flat screen TV. It means that you are dying significantly lower, in lower ages than other people. This is taking place, by the way, not just in West Virginia, it is taking place in Kentucky, all over this country. Yes. All right? Now, that is McDowell, West Virginia. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I was in Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I was at the reservation there. People familiar with the reservation in Pine Ridge? Yes, sir. Yes. It is a third world country. It is a country, again, where life expectancy is unbelievably low. It is a country where suicide rates are unbelievably high as a result of the despair, where the schools are failing the children, where healthcare access is totally inadequate, and that is in South Dakota among Native Americans. Then I was in Flint, Michigan a few months ago. All right. And in Flint, Michigan, children have been poisoned by excessive amounts of lead in the water. And then tomorrow, I'm going to Puerto Rico, where over half of the children in that territory are living in poverty. And people are fleeing the island. So whether it is white rural America, whether it is black inner city America, whether it is Latino communities, what we are seeing are millions and millions of people struggling just to keep their heads above water, and many of those people and their children are not succeeding. And meanwhile, at the end of all of that, we are living in a country where 58% of all new income is going to the top 1%. Where many of you are working very, very long hours. Mom works, dad works, the kids work. But almost all new income is going to the top 1%. You're living in a country where the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. And I want to talk now about an issue of local relevance, a very important issue. And that is what happens when coal companies go broke and what happens to the pensions of their workers. When coal mines go bankrupt or go into financial difficulty, workers and retirees should not have to live in fear that they will lose their retirement benefits. Wall Street vulture funds that take over coal companies like Patriot Coal, Alpha Natural Resources, and Walter Energy should not be allowed to break the promises that were made to coal miners with respect to their pension and retiree health care benefits. When a worker is promised a pension, no one should be allowed to renege on that promise by pulling the rug out from underneath that worker. Do you know why people have very little faith in the system? If a promise was made to you 40 years ago, and you worked hard, and you gave up wage increases or health care benefits in order to protect your pension, and then at the end of your career, or when you are retired, somebody pulls the plug and says, oh, thanks for giving up all those other benefits, but now we're going to cut your pension 30, 40, or 50%.
Here, here.
Yeah.
That is, not only is it unacceptable, it really destroys faith in any system. How can anybody believe any promise made to anybody when those pensions are being cut? Now, many of you know that the United Mine Workers Pension Plan is on the brink of failure. Some 90,000 workers and retirees are at risk of having their pension benefits slashed by 30, 40, or 50%. In the Senate, I have been working hard to do everything I can to protect those pensions and the pensions, not only of miners, but of other workers throughout this country who are in a similar predicament. Our Clean Worker Just Transition Act would fully fund the United Mine Workers Pension Plan by using excess money from the Abandoned Mine Land Fund. By keeping our Pensions Promise Act would not only help mine workers in Kentucky, but workers who are being threatened with pension cuts all over this country. All right, now here's something that is interesting. Several senators, both Republicans and Democrats, have been fighting to protect these pensions. Sadly, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. As all of you know, Mitch McConnell is now the leader of the United States Senate. He is in a very strong position to protect the retirement benefits, the pensions of Kentucky coal miners. Now, last December, an agreement was struck by a bipartisan group of senators and members of Congress to include a plan in the budget agreement that would have fixed this problem for coal miners. But at the last minute, Senator Mitch McConnell removed it from the budget deal. Now, I honestly do not know why he would have done it, especially coming from a state where so many workers here will be hurt with significant reductions in their pensions. So, all right, but in any case, clearly that behavior is unacceptable. We cannot, we will not allow the pension and retirement benefits of the United Mine Workers of America to be slashed. Senator McConnell should drop his opposition to this agreement and save the pension benefits of more than 90,000 coal miners in this country, and he should do it right now. Now, above and beyond this very important issue, we are in a campaign right now where we need your help big time to win on Tuesday. We think we have a shot to win here in Kentucky. Yeah. We did very well in West Virginia, and we'd like to repeat that. But the difference is that in West Virginia there is what is called an open primary. Independents can vote. Here in Kentucky you have a closed primary, and that makes it harder for us. And the only way we win is by having a very large turnout of working people and of young people who are prepared to stand up and fight for real change. Yeah. Now, we are going to defeat Donald Trump. Let me be very clear. And we will defeat Donald Trump not just because he is in his platform fighting for hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks for billionaires like himself. Now, I can think of a lot of things this country needs, but one of them is not billionaires getting more tax breaks. And Donald Trump, in his wisdom, has determined that we need not raise the minimum wage above $7.25 an hour. And he also has stated in a Republican debate that he thought wages in America are too high. Well, tell that to all of those workers, middle class and lower income workers, who have seen a decline in their income. Now, what this campaign is about is bringing millions of people together to stand up and fight back. I don't think Donald Trump is going to do what has to be done for working families. And frankly, I don't think Hillary Clinton is prepared to do all that has to be done for working families. And the issue here, and I have a lot of respect for Hillary Clinton, who I've known for a very long time, is it is difficult to take many, many millions of dollars from Wall Street and from other special interests in your super PAC and then actually go out and fight for the people that need the attention that they do need. All right. So to my mind, what the solution, the only way that we transform this country is A, by having a progressive agenda. What is the progressive agenda? Progressive agenda says that yes, the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations will start paying their fair share of taxes amid so much. The progressive agenda says that the United States will join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all people as well. Now you tell me, I want you to think about this for a second, in your own hearts. Think of what Kentucky or Vermont or any other state in this country would be if every man, woman, and child had health care, all the health care they needed as a right, not a privilege. All right? It would take a tremendous burden off of the backs of tens of millions of Americans. Yes. It would allow people to leave jobs they don't want to stay in and be able to go out and start their own business. And they're in those jobs now only because they have decent health insurance. Yes. It would save middle-class families thousands of dollars a year. And it would also substantially lower the cost of prescription drugs in this country. At a time a progressive agenda says that in this country we need to join the rest of the industrialized world for paid family and medical leave. When a woman has a baby, that woman should not be forced to go back to work 2 weeks later because she doesn't have time for the kid. A progressive agenda says that we have got to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure and create millions of decent paying jobs.
Yes. Yes.
A progressive agenda says that in the year 2016, we should be making public colleges and universities tuition free. A progressive agenda says that after the greed and recklessness and illegal behavior on Wall Street has brought this country 8 years ago into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, a progressive agenda says Wall Street has too much economic power, it has too much political power, and now is the time to break them up. The 6 largest financial institutions in this country have assets of almost 58% of the GDP of America, issue 2/3 of the credit cards, and 1/3 of the mortgages. That is just too much power. 3 out of 4 of them are bigger today than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. All right? So we need to stand up to Wall Street and tell them that the status quo is not acceptable. We need also, under a progressive agenda, to make radical changes in our trade policies. It is not good enough to allow corporate America to shut down plants in Kentucky and in Vermont and all over this country and then move to China and Mexico and pay people there pennies an hour. So there's a lot that has to be done, but implicit in all of it is the understanding that the powers that be in this country today, Wall Street, which literally has endless supplies of money, corporate America, whose greed is doing so much harm in this country, the corporate media, which pretty much determines what you see and hear, the wealthy campaign contributors who are buying politicians. These are the issues that we have to face. And the only way we do that is by doing it together. So I want to thank all of you and the millions of other Americans who have joined our effort for a political revolution. Okay, and let's take that. I hope very much that on Tuesday, the beautiful state of Kentucky, your great state, will join the other 19 states that have supported this. Tell the world that now is the time for a political revolution. Thank you all.